Good evening, friends, and welcome to a very interesting session with Major General Sudhakar Jee. Welcome, sir, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Jaydev. Always a pleasure and honor to connect with you and your platform, and look forward to sharing something very exciting with the viewers, hopefully.
Yes. So, coming to the first story is that we know that ever since Operation Sindoor happened, there has been a war brewing inside India for a very long time. Whether it is love jihad, whether it is sleeper cells, or any sort of land jihad. But now the attention is on the TCS Nashik case of corporate jihad, a new form of jihad which has not come to the limelight, but this case has exploded all over the mainstream media channels as well as the social media channels. The TCS case, and now the latest, according to latest reports, is that the TCS case in Nashik, there has been links to Zakir Naik, and according to investigators, have pointed an international conspiracy involving individuals in Malaysia where Zakir Naik has been living as fugitive. And during the searches and digital forensic analysis, police found the videos of Zakir Naik being used to brainwash and radicalize both the perpetrators and their targets. And also, what is interesting is that the anti-terrorism squad and NIA is also roped in into this particular case, which means there's an angle of international conspiracy and human trafficking angles are also involved, and this is a huge development because this is not to be taken lightly, this particular case.
Jaydev, thank you. Thanking for raising the issue, and uh, let's look at it from a perspective of preemptive strike. That is, it could have actually blown up and become beyond control. I would say to large an extent, our intelligence agencies, or whatever way it has actually come to light, it is a kind of uh, a kind of a very dangerous attribute of the society being subjected or being exploited, and it has come beforehand before it actually got blown up. Is a miracle that has happened. It could have actually become subdued, or it could have hibernated in some form, and with the help of slipper cells, it could have actually penetrated all over India. Not that it is not happening. Like you and me have discussed quite often in number of podcasts in the past, that Pakistan is all out along with forces inimical. Who are the forces inimical? You can't trust anyone. America itself, who is a strategic partner, it is behaving, it is acting, and it is carrying out all kinds of communication and activities in a manner which are very inimical. Openly, they have gone to say and state that they will not allow India to grow. Their Deputy Secretary of State, I think from State Department, who came for Raisina dialogue, he made this statement. They will not allow India to become second China. Okay, and we all have been hearing and seeing in the X Truth Special what comments Donald Trump has been giving since 20th of January 2025, and his associates, his coterie that he runs. So, therefore, to say that, I would say India has become a subcontinent where you have three spheres of influence intersecting with each other. What are the three spheres? One sphere is China is somehow or the other trying to strangulate India, or call it as, uh, strategic encirclement. This is the terminology used in geopolitics. Okay, so it's gone into Nepal, gone into, except for limited penetration as of now to Bhutan, it has managed to penetrate into the way of life of all other immediate neighborhoods. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Pakistan is in any case is a vassal state. Look at Afghanistan; they have taken the copper mine, Aini mine. They signed that MOU in 2008 with Taliban, and a host of other. The CPEC is being diverted. One area, Wakhan corridor, is under surveillance. They would have carried out the alignment marking, and through the Walken corridor, one rail and road communication is going to be developed from China side towards Kabul, and from Kabul it will be the CPEC is being diverted from wherever, from Gujarat Pass. It comes up to Peshawar, and from Peshawar cuts across towards Kabul, and from Kabul it goes towards Turkmenistan. That is what China is looking at. Turkmenistan is the fourth largest reservoir of gas, natural gas. So they want to pipe the gas from there, and through the modified or diverted CPEC, they want to bring it here. So you have China on one hand, you have USA, the CIA is in full blown, and the third and most important thing is the Islamic fundamentalism. Islamic fundamentalism is the biggest. It's being supported by who all? By Qatar, by Turkey. They're into the continent in a big way. Sometime back, we used to speak before the elections were held in Bangladesh. We used to say the Qatar and Turkey modules have started operating in Bangladesh along with Jamaiti, ISI, you have Hamas, you have Hezbollah, and you have Rohingyas, whatnot. It has become a kind of a new ground, new battleground for all these kinds of, forces which are inimical to a stable and secure democracy like India. So, intersection of three spheres of influence, and more than that is the modus operandi is unfortunately started converging. In case of China, you have United Front Works Department. United Front Works Department, while taking the help of three warfare strategy of media, legal, and perception management, what they do is they try to target the people who are of influential relevance. That means they have lots of followers. Okay, so political leadership, they penetrate into the mindset in a systematic, scientific, and incremental manner, so that the four pillars of democracy, which are namely the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, and the media, these are the four important pillars. These days, new pillars are emerging, technology, and a lot of things are coming up, people are adding on. But I would say that primarily these are the four pillars. They are trying to penetrate into each of these pillars, trying to influence the people who take decision, and also trying successfully to make sure that those decisions are implemented. Quite a few cases are there, Supreme Court cases. We have the legislature, how the law. Look at this, the women's bill. Women's bill is for the larger good of the nation. Any nation which actually welcomes the women's bill, 33% in our democratic setup of legislature, and that would further lead to you have the executive also. Some of them would turn out to be cabinet ministers or normal ministers. That would contribute in a society like ours, or democracy like ours, where you have multiple challenges and fault lines, a number of religions, languages, states, union territories, ethnic tribes. Look at the kind of distinctions. So, therefore, to converse, unified, when we talk about the UCC, Unified Civil Code, this could have been a great forerunner for before implementation of UCC. And incidentally, this has already been passed in the parliament in 2023, if I'm not wrong. Yet, for implementation purpose, they have actually look at the outcome. What has happened? They have defeated the motion. So, in a democracy, for these things, these are all they result in some kind of retarding the progress of a country, and their basic aim and objective is to make sure that India does not progress at the rate at which we are progressing. It does not become the third largest economy, it does not become the second largest economy. At places, the economic experts have said that if you leave India unchecked, then by 2038, by purchasing power parity, India would have overtaken USA. Okay, as on today, it is $17.7 trillion GDP. USA is around 30.8 or 31.9 $9 trillion. Okay, China is just below, as far as the PPP is concerned, it is gone beyond the USA, 41 trillion dollar. So if you leave India unchecked, then it would have overtaken the USA by 2030. So these are the fears which are driving the superpower or the global powers to make sure that India is prevented from its steady rise, and it goes to confirm what I have been saying often in your channel: Thucydide trap or Thucydide doctrine. Any established power will never allow any rising power to come up to its footing. And any established power, any accomplished power, will never compromise or surrender its supremacy and authority. Okay, so these are the couple of issues they will keep on trying, and India will be subjected to these kind of activities. One is this, the other is, about Delhi blast, what happened, multi-city serial blast and all. And few days back only, Manipur was calm and quiet. 1 year of, I would say, normalcy under the new leadership which has been sent there. And suddenly you find 7 or 8 days back they called me to the one of the panel discussion that there has been a blast from the projectile has been fired from an unknown place. There is a child dead, there is so and so dead, and the second blast also has been reported. Why is it happening? So such kind things will take place. Yesterday we found, it was in the open source, although he has been released by the security agencies. There is a tracker, there is an American tracker who has been caught in the Jammu and Kashmir with a satellite connectivity platform, a satellite antenna. Okay, so he's ignorant about our rules and regulations that these are not allowed there. But that means our security agencies are up and about. They're quite alert to such kind of things, and they're apprehending these people. Similarly, you had a couple of cases we discussed. I think two or three of them, like the CCTV camera case. Okay, and the ISI involvement, the Jaish-e-Mohammed involvement in some of the surveillance activities along the border. So there is the entire ISI in conjunction with ISIS. They are all out to make regional caliphates a success story in India. Our security agencies are doing their job. A few days back only, I think you gave a point that the Delhi Assembly, these people, they had penetrated 3 layers of security and they had put the flower bouquet, I think, inside the car of the speaker. If such things
Yes.
can happen with the speaker, that means we need to be very alert. I would say the citizenry awareness and alertness is very, very important because uh, police alone cannot perform or discharge the duty. We all have to act together, bring our acts together, and make sure that these things are prevented. Anything being noticed by anybody which is untoward, unnatural, and which is unbecoming of our societal culture and ethics, it should be straightaway reported to through the chain, the society or the colony president, to the police station, to the army people who are there, or any security apparatus present there, so that we must try to nip it in the bud, otherwise it may blow up. TCS would have become a huge kind of it would have been worse than a nuclear explosion for a country like India. So, therefore, I would say that yes, it has happened, and we need to be careful. Our security agencies have to go into the details and try and develop and modify the ecosystem which is existing now, so that we take preventive measures and not, inactive kind of a step. We can't afford to take things lightly now. We have to be absolutely up on our toes, and the political dispensation, the existing security apparatus need to be cooperated, we need to collaborate our effort. There is a requirement to actually integrate such kind of efforts which are against the national interest and the security of the country. Back to you, Jay.
So, what about the funding of these jihadi outfits, whether it is in the corporate sector or elsewhere? Where is the funding coming from?
Yeah, excellent question. So, you see, we need to look at certain things. Firstly, we need to identify the ecosystem which is sustaining these organizations. Ecosystem in terms of the HR, the human resource. These people are taking advantage of the sleeper cells within the country. The handlers are across the IB. They are in Pakistan. They're giving the guidelines. They have a communication equipment which is encrypted, which cannot be decoded by any one of us. Okay, unless we specialize, and people are working on it. I'm sure they will be able to come out with the answer. And there is also the funds have been actually been transacted through such kind of accounts which are also enjoying a kind of a immunity from breached or being accessed. So, firstly, we need to actually break that particular transaction method. We need to identify what are the codes, who the source, and and form a comprehensive dossier so that firstly we need to take action. Taking action, something at global level, something at the regional level, and something at the national level. And I presume that all these activities are taking place, particularly the fund. Where is the fund coming from? My reading and my analysis is that the Hawala Pakistan is one of the few countries in the world which has got maximum transactions of Hawala fund. Plus the narcotics, they might have shifted from Afghanistan. Afghanistan, the Taliban has banned the cropping of the poppies. Okay, so now they have shifted to similar kind of terrain in Balochistan. So it is in Pakistan which is being harvested, which is being plowed, being developed, being cultivated, being harnessed, and they have got the know-how also shifted from Afghanistan into Balochistan. There are processing units. So this is another source of fund, and the cryptocurrency is going to. It is already doing a lot of damage. Cryptocurrency is another damage making kind of a currency which needs to be guarded against, and we have to be very, very careful. But int agencies would do well, and they should be provided with all kinds of support, including the executive powers. Judiciary power also should be empowered to them if it has not happened. And there is a requirement to actually collaborate with each other rather than discharging your role in isolation. It's a great degree of synergy has already taken place after NIA came into being. But much more needs to be done between the state and the center on this subject so that we effectively can prevent our country being penetrated and being exploited the way they actually unleashed their act of war against us by invisible methods, by calibrated method, by subdued method. You and me won't even get to know. It's like TCS. We think it is a normal thing happening until unless somebody, you have a whistleblower who indicates that so and so thing is happening. So therefore, I would say that not only the funds, we also need to look for things like our education system. Our education system has to be standardized. We can no longer afford to have education as a state subject. It is in the concurrent list. I personally feel that there is a requirement to change our duties. You see, we have our fundamental rights in a particular section. Okay, these are enforceable rights. But when it comes to duties, I feel in a selective, in a graduated manner, the duties also should become enforceable. Unless the citizens feel accountable to themselves, that they are equally responsible for the nation's security, the national development, or they need to contribute. There are certain duties they have to do. By keeping themselves physically fit is a big contribution. By going out for a run, by speaking the truth, by studying hard, by not indulging in drugs. Drug is another issue, how it is being compromised in our country, how it has penetrated. Earlier, 10 years back or 15 years back, India used to be a transit path. Okay, there are three transit paths. One is through the Balkan from the Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, that Golden Crescent, Balkan route. The other is to be Central Asian Republic. The third one is to be through India. So the United Nations organization dealing with the drugs, they have managed to actually block these two routes, Central Asian Republic and the Balkan route, and the Indian subcontinent or the South Asian subcontinent is earlier used to be used for transit purposes. Now India, if you read the statistics, 2 3 years back, 10% consumption of drugs has started taking place. The latest I am telling you, it is close to 20% now. In open source, you will find 14%. Now, this is doing extensive damage. I am just back from Punjab. When I spoke to the people there, I was alarmed to see that in every family, at least one or two people are actually drug addict. Okay, these are very alarming data. And so, therefore, we need to do a lot, particularly states like Punjab, because now drug has become a kind of a way of life. I saw the driver who was driving me. His father had died because of drug addiction. His brother is drug addict, and the mother disowned the child. He said, "You are not my child." And this boy, he broke down, and I had to break this story in the seminar I was to go and attend. Okay, this is what is happening. This is a bigger danger in the national security than anything else. This is going to kill the entire country. So we need to guard against such kind of practices. How do you do it? By putting the citizens, by putting the people into a predictable routine or way of life. Everyone cannot be given an employment, but certainly we can ecosystem can be developed in our society, which will provide or encourage people to develop their skill development in times ahead is going to be highly in demand, and we are going to be most sought after country to provide the skill developed people, be it the driving, be it the mechanics, be it the plumbing, be it the electrical type of activities, or cooking, or anything for that matter. There are new avenues which are opening up. We need to identify them, and the central government is doing a fantastic job. We need to take advantage of this. So therefore, the issues that I spoke of is basically the four pillars of democracy are likely to weaken, and money that you are talking of, the funds that are flowing. Yes, I agree with you. We need to put in our effort, which is happening in a big way, to identify how the funds are flowing, from where it is coming, where it is going, which all are the accounts where it is being credited, and we need to take steps to choke the flow of fund.
Yes. So speaking about corporate this jihad, we have another company called Lenskart, and they have updated their older version of style guide. Before they didn't allow all these bindi tilak and sindoor and all those things, but now they have updated their team style guide, and they have allowed all the bindi tilak sindoor mangal sutra etc etc. And this is the one of the top eyewear retailer companies in India, which is Lenskart. So you can see that slowly everything is getting out in the open of the work culture, and also the love jihad cases inside these MNC companies inside India, isn't it?
Absolutely. In my opinion, such like companies should have been asked to wind up, fold their bag, and leave the country. Okay, because there is no question that the basic finer fundamentals of our culture can be compromised in this manner. I have not liked a little bit. How could they? How dare they think of wiping off the bindi and giving something else? So this is not on. Not even any advertisement philosophy or the curriculum, teaching curriculum, they teach you that plague is the religion just to simply to garner your profit margin. That has never happened. Why has it happened? This also calls for another deep investigation at appropriate level, and we need to find out who was the prime trigger, who has given this idea, because it is that person who's giving the idea would essentially take us to the root or the primary source from where the ideas are flowing, or the philosophy, the concepts are flowing. That person becomes the tap. Earlier we used to talk about terrorism, now we'll talk about the latest things which are happening in the country. So there are new such issues will start cropping up, and without getting alarmed, for each of these kind of challenges will give a way forward to the government, to the country, to evolve an architecture how to prevent them. Because one new thing is going to definitely lead to two more new things, two more. It's like a binary system. So in the binary system, it's like a hydra. You kill one head, there are two heads which are coming up. Kill the two heads, there are four heads which are propping up. So similarly, we have to actually be mindful of the fact, and the entire population of the country, particularly the youth, they would do well if they are integrated into a kind of a security network which is responsible, which is mature, which is accountable, and uh, they should be adapted and taken help of by the formal and official security architecture of the country, and only then we can become effective on the ground. And second thing is, without meaning to indicate that I'm taking sides of anyone, um, without being called as siding Iran. Look at Iran. Despite all the challenges the country is facing today, it is the Bajis force, the Iranian intelligence agency. They had studied the way they are going to be attacked, the way the uprising of the civilians is going to be inculcated or is going to be stimulated, based on the experience they had gained or they had garnered from countries like Libya, from country like Syria. Syria was destabilized, from Iraq. Iraq is their neighbor, and they had formed a force called a Bajis force. Bajis force, officially in the open source, you will find 600,000 Bajis force. They are paramilitary forces. They come under IRGC, and their job was to prevent such kind of penetration. These are called a counterintelligence task, subverting the mind of the people, and trying to lure them with money, material, and good job outside, okay, and a job in Malaysia, job in Indonesia, etc., etc. Take them out from the country because everyone cannot be employed. So therefore, these kind of things have to be thought of. Maybe we will do well to actually evolve a system. It may not be parallel to Bajis force that I have indicated. It could be something else. The basic job should be the national integration. Anything which is happening against the national integration must be proactively addressed, and preventive steps should be institutionalized so that you nip the problem in the bud rather than waiting for things to blow up.
Yes. So we'll have to wait and see, how each and every day some other companies, style guide is exposed on social media in India, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like in one of my articles, which I wrote on 31st May 2025, I had predicted some of these activities in a different form. In NBC attack, like sarin attack in Japan, or you have something like the Delhi blast taking place and the explosives having come in, and 4.5 kilos of whatever that poison that we talk of. I think it was called as Thysin poison, which is more poisonous
Rising.
than, yeah, more poisonous than the cyanide. And so such like issues, there are new means and methods which are coming to the mind of these people because they have nothing to do. Their basic aim is to destabilize, to destroy India, to balkanize India, and there are too many people working for it. And America, China, and the Islamic world, they have come to a point of convergence, and that point of convergence is to keep India under pressure, subdue it, keep hitting it, keep striking it, so that we are unable to focus on to the economic progress. We are only distracted from the main focus, and we fritter away our limited resources in left, right, and center, not on the main issue. So India has to see the pattern, and we have to counter strategize our course of action in a manner, and we have to formulate the checks and balances, the standing operating procedure, the code of conduct. Need be some of this code of conduct or points to look for should be disseminated through the media or through the societal circle. It goes down to every family member that they have to be aware and look out for these kind of things which are dangerous and which are detrimental to the national security. Only then that reporting method should be faster rather than waiting for TCS like situation. We have to proactively take action without be mindful of the fact that at times alarm, raising an alarm is more important than actually getting killed in the actual incident. But it is better to be called as an alarmist than to keep sulking and keep hiding the things in you and not disclosing it to anybody, not even to the family elders. The culture has become such that the parents don't have time for the children are on their own, internet, social media platforms, okay, Facebook, you have this and that. So the kind of activities they're indulging in, this is another issue that we may have to take recourse to what Australia has done. The Facebook thing, chatter, is is turning out to be highly dangerous and unhealthy. This is being taken advantage of. Since we have a large youth bulge from 15 years to 65 years, out of that, 15 to let's say 32, 35, these people are the people who are going to be exploited, because many of them look at our employment opportunity. We have only those many people who can get into the employment, and because of the current crisis post pandemic, there are so many people who are companies are actually laying out a lot of people. And now on top of it, the artificial intelligence has come, robotics has come, many of the companies have started going to the machines. So people are going to be laid off very soon. So therefore, these people who are not getting employment or the job are likely to be exploited with petty, small little amounts by multiple agencies of this kind, and who may be taken into their umbrella to and also create a system, a ecosystem, so as to make sure that India does not move along in the progressive direction that we have been discussing in the past.